Explosion. Boom! Slow-mo door breach. Pow! Crack! Twat! Watch out, here comes Riley the dog. Woof woof, motherfuckers. Yes, it's that time of year again. It's November, meaning that yet another Call of Duty game has just hit shop shelves, bringing with it an overbearing sense of familiarity, perhaps more so than any other year before it. But Ghosts, in many ways, is actually a step backwards for the series. I'm going to cover the campaign first, and I'm going to let you know right now that I don't have very nice things to say about it, so I want to get it out of the way first. Now, I'm not normally one of those people that jump on the Call of Duty hate bandwagon. In fact, you can find my review of Black Ops 2 from last year where I actually praised the game for trying some new things and still being a fun experience at the end of the day. The same definitely cannot be said of Call of Duty Ghosts. See, Black Ops 2 actually made some effort to innovate. The introduction of a branching storyline with multiple endings, the Strike Force missions, and even the little things like being able to pick your loadout before each mission gave you the impression that Treyarch were at least trying to do some new things with the series. All those additions I just listed are missing from Ghosts, and it's clear that Infinity Ward is all too content with recycling the same old game year after year. And the recycling extends beyond the core gameplay and familiar tropes. It actually reuses assets from previous games like sound effects and even entire cutscene animations, as this video demonstrates. Look at it! This is from a game that had no less than 8 different studios working on it, belonging to a franchise that has raked in billions of dollars. And they couldn't manage to create a new cutscene animation? It's just shameful. Ghosts also carries over all the same tropes that are found in all the previous Call of Duty titles. Things like slow motion door breaches, which stopped being impressive after the first one in the series, and a badly written and downright boring story that attempts to trick you into thinking it's exciting by throwing explosion after explosion in your face and having the voice actors shout all of their lines. And the developers still insist on making us play as the rubbish, faceless, silent member of the squad. You know, the one that's always being picked up off the ground by his teammates and stands at the back and watches as the AI companions do all of the cool stuff. And that's the problem with Call of Duty campaigns, really. You always feel more like a spectator rather than an active participant in any of the game's events. The subtitle is perfectly appropriate here because the game excels at making you feel like a ghost, an entity that has no proper interaction with the world around it, apart from doing things like press F to use the computer. AI characters barely even acknowledge your existence, with the exception of when the teammates bark orders at you as if you're playing as Riley the fucking dog. The campaign is just so scripted and so on rails that I often wondered why I'm even bothering to play it. There's no room for player freedom or experimentation, and if you don't do exactly what the game wants you to, it has no problem punishing you over and over again because of it. Take this underwater level for example, where the game auto-saved while I wasn't in a very good position admittedly, but the game had no problem killing me over and over because I didn't stick to my partner's arse and swim into this sunken ship at exactly the same time as him. Or there's this other level on a train. There are these 2 helicopters that start firing on you, so I fought back and shot them until they went down. Only this game's incessant, juvenile desire to have everything blow up meant that the helicopter ended up crashing into the train where I was standing and exploding in my face, killing me. This game just loves to kill you through no fault of the player, and fighting them just doesn't matter anyway. When the game reloaded, I ignored the helicopters and ran ahead, and eventually they flew away, never to be seen again, and that's the issue. Nothing matters. This might as well have been a 4-hour QTE or even a movie. It virtually would have been the same experience. And I'm sick of the same old shit cropping up in every game, like AI teammates barging you out of the way to get to their all-important destination, or the AI standing around telling you to do something instead of just doing it themselves. I would be genuinely surprised and impressed if I played a Call of Duty game one day and the AI asked you to open a door, and if you didn't do it soon enough they would respond with something like, "Actually, you know what? "Fuck it, you're taking too long. I'll do it myself, you shit." But they never do. Instead, they'll stand there saying, "Open the door! Open the door! Get the door open! Open the door!" For eternity. And the icing on the shit-flavoured cake is that the game doesn't even run well, and the visuals aren't at a level where frame rate drops are acceptable. Bad, low-resolution textures can be found all throughout the game, and look at these fish! This is not the product of 8 studios, 2 years and $1 billion. This wouldn't even be the product of one guy in a day, with a $5 in his pocket. The developers also decided that locking the field of view at 65 and having a bullshit requirement of 6GB of RAM to run the game was perfectly acceptable. And make no mistake viewers, the 6GB requirement is bullshit. There are fixes that let users start the game with 4GB of RAM, and if the developers had actually programmed the game to properly utilise the system memory, there's no way 6GB would be needed. And to top it all off, the sound keeps cutting out during the mission load screens, so even on the minuscule possibility that you gave a toss about the game's plot, you would have trouble understanding what the characters are droning on about anyway. The campaign in this game is nothing more than a soulless, hollow, forgettable experience that offers nothing that a previous game in the series doesn't already. Now, with the campaign out of the way, let's move on to the multiplayer, which, again, doesn't really offer anything new over its predecessors. It features new maps and guns, and some new game modes. Nothing exactly to write home about, but if you enjoy Call of Duty multiplayer, there's nothing to make you dislike this one. Creator class retains the Pick 10 system that Treyarch introduced in Black Ops 2, but for some reason the developers have removed any sort of indicator telling you how many picks you have remaining. Which is odd, to say the least. Weapons are no longer gated behind rank, so provided you have sufficient squad points, you're able to unlock any gun you want at any time. One new addition for this game is the ability to create your own character. You can pick your gender, head, and a variety of headgear and uniforms. And yes, you have to rank up to unlock heads. Call of Duty Ghosts supposedly introduced dynamically changing maps, but I honestly never noticed anything in my playtime. I've heard that all that happens is that things sometimes fall over, so it's nothing on the scale of Battlefield 4's collapsing skyscraper, but as I never came across this dynamic destruction or whatever it is, I can't confirm. Call of Duty can never be accused of not offering enough variety in its game modes, and the same is true of Ghosts. Along with familiar modes like Team Deathmatch, Domination and Kill Confirmed, there are new modes like Cranked, Blitz and Hunted. Cranked is a team deathmatch mode. Only when you score a kill, you'll become faster and you have to score another kill within 30 seconds to stay cranked, otherwise you'll explode. This was easily my least favourite of the new modes. It felt too chaotic just for the sake of it, and I'll admit that I'm not the best player in the world by a long shot, but I'd barely even last 5 to 10 seconds after getting a kill, let alone 30. Blitz is sort of like capture the flag, only you don't have to take the flag back to your own base. And there's no flags. So it's not really like capture the flag, but you do have to infiltrate your opponent's base and run into the objective zone to score a point. When you hit the objective zone, you'll be teleported back to your own base, so there's plenty of mad dashes through hails of gunfire, desperately trying to score a point and escape to safety. Your own team also has an objective zone, so as well as running into your enemy's base and scoring, you'll have to defend your own base from enemies trying to sneak in. It's actually a pretty decent game mode, and one that I think is a welcome addition to the series. Lastly, we have Hunted. Starting players with only a pistol, you'll have to race enemies to the weapon crates that drop randomly on the map. Weapon crates can be used only 5 times, so you'd better get there quick. So you could get an assault rifle, or a sniper rifle, or even a grenade launcher. You just better hope that you're good with whatever you get. The first time I played this mode it was somewhat enjoyable, but constantly getting shot in the back soured the experience. I'm not sure if it was the map or the people I was playing with, but the second time I played Hunted it was a lot more enjoyable. But ultimately your enjoyment of Call of Duty Ghosts comes down to whether you like the previous Call of Duty titles or not. I've found some enjoyment in the past, but I've never been a die-hard fan of the series, and as such I don't foresee myself playing it much after this review is done. However, if you are a dedicated Call of Duty fan and you're not bored of the franchise yet, I'm sure you'll have a great time with Ghosts. Just don't expect any significant changes. Finally, we have Extinction, and at long last, Infinity Ward have found an answer to Treyarch's Zombies mode. Compared to the campaign and multiplayer, it's the strongest facet of the game in my opinion, and I might actually prefer it to Zombies. Like Zombies, you progress through to different areas of the map and earn cash to spend on new weapons, but it has a few twists that make it its own thing. Most notably, the frantic enemy behaviour means fighting the aliens is unlike anything else in Call of Duty, and it provides some of the most enjoyable combat in this series to date. So the goal is to take the portable drill and destroy hives to progress further through the map. While the drill is in the process of destroying the hive, you and your team have to defend the drill from the aliens who will try to destroy it. As you progress further, you'll encounter more varied and tougher enemies. I believe there is more than one map, but since I haven't completed it, I can't say for sure. Before each game, players pick one of 4 classes, each offering their own unique abilities such as more health or increased weapon damage. You can also choose from a small selection of starting pistols and gadgets that will help out both yourself and the team during the game. Gadgets are things like ammo boxes that you can drop to allow the team to resupply, or a portable minigun turret which really helps when trying to defend a position. As you play, you'll earn points which can be spent on upgrading your class abilities and gadgets. Challenges also appear at each hive and can award you bonus spending points, but the nature of them makes the challenge system a bit hit and miss. See, the challenge requirements cover the whole team, which is good for a challenge like kill 25 enemies with submachine guns for example, as everyone can contribute to that. But when you get a challenge like kill enemies only with your knife, or don't use special abilities for 90 seconds, you're almost guaranteed to fail. But on the whole, Extinction is actually very enjoyable provided you can get some friends together, and even if you can't, you'll probably still have a decent enough time playing in a public game. Is Extinction strong enough that Ghosts would be worth buying just for this one mode? Well, no, not really, but if you're intent on buying this game regardless, there's definitely fun to be had here. So that about sums up what I think of Call of Duty Ghosts. It's a mixed package for sure, offering some genuinely good fun with the Extinction mode, but on the other end of the scale is the derivative lazy clump of shite that is the game's campaign mode. And somewhere in between is Call of Duty's trademark love it or hate it multiplayer. Die-hard fans of the series have most likely already purchased the game, but for those on the fence, I'd recommend waiting for a price cut if you really must have this game. In the meantime, if you're itching for some Call of Duty action, why not just play Black Ops 2 instead?
You're awake.